Hey, what's up League fans, and welcome to The Blame Game. I'm MarkZ Zimmerman, the former assistant coach and head analyst for Team Liquid. In this show, I'll be looking at the most popular Reddit comments discussing this week's LCS games and deciding whether or not the Reddit analysts are correct in their blame or not. To give you guys an idea of how this will work, I want to start off with an easy example. We're going back to week 1 with Team Liquid versus Renegades. To jog your memory in this match, Renegades got an early lead and looked like they were poised for a slow victory. However, they made some mistakes which let Team Liquid get back into the game. The play in question is at 44 minutes where Piglet gets picked off in the mid lane, rotating to the top side of the jungle. Now, a lot of people were saying that it was Piglet's fault for getting caught, but in reality it's the entire team's fault for not going in to secure vision. You can see that they tell him to stay mid to push one more wave before moving, and that's when Renegade picks him off in front of the first entrance of the jungle. If the team had properly gone in and secured vision, Piglet wouldn't have got caught, and that's why the blame is on the entire team. Let's move on to one of the games from this weekend, in particular Energy versus Echo Fox. We'll be looking at Moon's play, and the post-game thread was full of the usual Moon bashing. Now usually I'm on board with any criticisms levied against him, but in this game I don't think he was put in a position to succeed. They gave him Evelynn, which is a good champion to pressure lanes, but they opted into a 2v1. The only lane he can pressure is mid with a GP in it. The 2 times he tried to go there, he got a GP Q with no barrels, and the second time the barrels just got cleared by Corki. If he had opted to go into standard lanes, while bad for Energy's bot lane, it would have given him the option to gank top and bot because they both had setup. Instead, he was stuck 2v1 and falling behind a Graves who was just out farming him. It was nice that he got 2 dragons and a Rift Herald for his team, but it didn't matter. His team forgot what a Malphite did and clumped up in front of a turret. There were plenty of problems in that game for Energy, and I don't think Moon was the biggest one. For this reason, I think the blame is busted. I'll have to work on that. The last game we'll look at is CLG versus TSM, with Reddit collectively facepalming over CLG's draft. The biggest point of criticism was the Ryze first pick, instead of going with Darshan and apparently the rest of the NALCS's excellent Fiora. Now TSM countered the Ryze first pick with Kalista Alistar, one of the strongest bot lanes in the game right now. This is where CLG's draft takes an interesting turn and they go with Ashe Morgana, which is pretty abnormal. In return, TSM takes Graves and Fiora, and this is where I want to stop and talk about the draft. I feel like this is one of those drafts where CLG is going to get hated on no matter what if they lose. TSM shows their bot lane early, so there's a lot of incentive for CLG to show theirs because they can counterpick it straight up and hide more of their picks. The biggest point of criticism was the Ryze versus Fiora first pick, but that doesn't matter when you're taking your bot lane second and you're giving away more power picks. If they took Fiora and TSM still ended up with Kalista, Alistar, Graves, and Ryze, I think people would still be criticizing the draft. If you want to attack the draft, the biggest question mark is the Morgana Ashe counterpick. It's hard to know how effective the Morgana Ashe counterpick lane should be. Maybe CLG ran it in scrims and stomped with it 5 times in a row. None of that really matters though when you look at how CLG actually played the game out. Smithy went top early to influence the carry versus carry matchup, but they ended up down in summoners and CS. Sven, meanwhile, ganked bot lane and sent Ashe home early, forcing her to come back to lane with 2 long swords instead of the BF sword that she really wanted to come to lane with. From there, Smithy stuck topside covering Ryze with no flash, and the rest of the team continues to fall behind. All this culminates in a terribly defended bot dive for CLG, where the players come in from all different angles and at different times. This is all without mentioning the fact that Huhi gets solo killed in a favorable lane matchup. Basically what I'm saying is, there are a lot of things wrong with that game, and the Ryze first pick is one of the last things I would point out. The only people who really know if this blame is justified or not is CLG. Anyways, that's it for the first episode of The Blame Game. Let me know what you guys think and what you'd like to see in future episodes. In particular, help me find the tagline because I'm too stupid to come up with my own. Tune in next week for another episode. And remember, I'm not crazy. That's why I quit coaching TL.